Okay, the entire breadth of all the bills that have been filed in Tallahassee is much too broad for me to go over them all. So what I will do is give you a sampling of issues that are pertinent to realtors. But before I go to Tallahassee, let me go to Washington. As you know, on the 30th of April, we will lose the $8,000 tax credit program. However, that program is not exactly going away for active duty members of the military, so I wanted to make sure that everyone here in this room understood. And that's a stipulation for military members that if you or your spouse are on qualified official extended duty outside the United States for at least 90 days after 2008 and before May 1st of 2010, you have, listen closely, an extra year to buy a home and claim the credit. So the active duty military will have an extra year to buy a home and claim the credit. In other words, you must buy the home before May the 1st of 2011, before July 1st of 2011 if you entered into a written binding contract before May 1st. If you go to the IRS website, /military, they'll give you the information, but the active duty military in this area, and that's pertinent because we have the 7 Special Forces coming in, and we have other personnel that are moving in who are supporting the Joint Strike Fighter, many of which have spouses who are deployed. This is very important because you will still be able to claim the $8,000 tax credit for these individuals. Now, President-elect Floyd mentioned that there are lots of committees that you can participate in Orlando and with the National Association, one of which that I have the pleasure to be a part of, and broker Sally Merrifield as well, is the Insurance Subcommittee. Now, for the last 2, I should say, Florida Realtor meetings, the Insurance Subcommittee, we've met, and it's been in regards to House Bill 545. And we're pleased to announce that this one has passed its first committee in Tallahassee, and it looks like it's going to have passed the House and also go through to the Senate. This bill repeals a provision in Florida law that as of January the 1st, 2011, would have required the disclosure of residential property windstorm mitigation ratings to purchasers in wind-borne debris regions. Basically, this is going to do exactly what it says. There won't have to be a windstorm rating disclosure to people who are purchasing a home. We've successfully got that through the first House committee. It's going to have a Senate companionship. Sally and I worked on that in the Insurance Subcommittee, so we're very happy that that's going to be repealed. House Bill 447 is the property insurance rate increases. This expected to take it up. It's been taken up, actually. This measure is going to restrict the ability of the Office of Insurance Regulation to oversee proposed rate hikes. There are mixed feelings on this one because basically this is the one that they tried to pass last year, but Governor Chris vetoed it. That would basically remove insurance from being regulated in the state of Florida. This one's going to be an uphill battle. It has passed its first committee, but it's probably going to get tabled until the very end of session, so we're watching that one closely. House Bill 27 is an amendment to the Florida Constitution, and it's to revise requirements for annual charge and assessments of homestead property and to prohibit increase in assessed value of homestead property if just value of that property decreases, meaning your property taxes don't increase when your property value decreases. We're watching that one very closely. That's House Bill 27. We're expecting that to pass. House Bill 75 is a general homestead property foreclosures. Now, a lot of you have heard of this one. This is the Foreclosure Bill of Rights that's been mentioned. This is House Bill 75. And it provides for procedural requirements and limitations for plaintiffs, defendants, and courts in homestead property mortgage foreclosure actions. Specifies document production requirements, requires mediation. And so what this would actually do is before a property can be foreclosed on in Florida, mediation would be required. I'll stop right there. Now, this one has been filed, and it is now in committee in the Civil Justice and Courts Policy Committee. The fact that it has not been canceled is very positive, but it looms and it's going to kill several other bills that have been filed. Now, House Bill 125 has just been tabled, and it was the general rental property disclosure or short sale actions. This one would have required lenders to notify tenants or lessees of potential foreclosure or short sale actions against rental property. It also would require lenders to provide tenants or lessees first right of refusal to purchase property at fair market value. As I mentioned, this one in that same committee, the Civil Justice and Courts Policy Committee, they had only 2 yeses and 9 yays, so it has officially been tabled. I expect that one to be picked back up probably the last week of session and refiled in a different form. House Bill 329 is the general condominium foreclosures. This one requires certain condominium unit tenants to pay monies owed on behalf of unit to association. It provides liability, provides tenants' obligations to association, provides condominium associations with certain powers. It requires the mortgagee to request estoppel letter from association prior to filing foreclosure action. It authorizes the association to charge fee for production of estoppel letter. It requires the association to reply to letter within specified period of time. It provides dismissal of action for failure to request letter or make payments. I'll stop that right there. Unfortunately, that one has been laid on the table as well. Now, the reason that these bills are being laid on the table is primarily because of budgetary concerns. You see, when you get a bill that's put in front of the committee or the House and it starts to become something that's argued, sent from one committee to the next, and we still have not balanced the budget, we still don't know where that extra $3 billion is going to come from, eventually the Economic Development Chair or the Senate President or the House Speaker will say, okay, this one's taking too much time, we're going to table this, we'll pick it back up at a later date. I've already mentioned Amendment 4, I don't want to confuse the issue, but there's another amendment out there that's very important, and it's Amendment 3. Now, Amendment 3, Florida Realtors has not decided how they're going to discuss or market Amendment 3 because they're afraid of taking the influence and your focus off of Amendment 4. We want to vote yes on 3. Yes on 3, no on 4. Okay. She said that, not me. Okay. Amendment 3 initiative is going to appear on your November 2nd ballot as a legislatively referred constitutional amendment. This proposal calls for limiting the maximum annual increase in the assessed values of non-homesteaded property to 5%. Additionally, it calls providing a $25,000 exemption for people who have not owned a principal property in the previous 8 years. We're very much in favor of that because it's going to favor the homeowners. Now, in closure, I want to give kudos to my boss and our board of directors. A lot of the bills that are filed, you see your legislators when they come speak to you at Rotary, they come speak to you at these different events, and they're absolutely grandstanding, taking credit for things that they have had nothing to do with. ECAR has been a main driving force for legislation in Northwest Florida. It was before I got here, and it definitely is right now. My telephone rings 10:30, 11 o'clock, midnight with legislators who are asking me, Cliff, because they know I'll answer and my wife hadn't cut my head off yet. Cliff, will the realtors be favorable to this? Cliff, because what they're actually doing is they're feeling out Florida realtors long before they actually approach the state organization. And they're constantly asking, how do we feel about this? How do we feel about that? Do you think this will pass and do you think that won't pass? I'm saying that because I want everyone in this room to be very proud of what you're accomplishing here as an association. ECAR, we said it once before, but it's absolutely true. The doors to Tallahassee absolutely swing through 10 Hollywood Boulevard. You should be proud of that. Before anybody makes a decision in Tallahassee that's going to affect Northwest Florida, they absolutely contact ECAR right now to find out what's going on. You've seen bills last year like Senate Bill 360, transportation concurrency, and you hear our legislators talking about jobs programs, but what they never mention is the fact that Barry Stafford sent me to Tallahassee to sit down with senators, to sit down with legislators and say, hey, listen, we're experiencing a lot of issues in Northwest Florida in regards to the Department of Community Affairs. Our realtors and our developers are having issues getting things done, and it's because of this legislation or that legislation. And I'll leave that legislator's office and I'll go down and I'll talk to Petronas in Panama City, or I'll speak with Merzen in Pensacola or Clay Ford, or I'll go up to Greg Evers and sit down and talk with Greg or Brad Drake and these guys who always answer our phone calls. And the next thing you know, you guys read the media, you read a newspaper announcement, and that senator or that House representative has a brand new idea. It's not brand new. It was birthed right here at ECAR every Monday, the first Monday of every month in our public policy meeting. I don't think that people out there know what a gem ECAR is to Northwest Florida, not just to Okaloosa County, not just to Walton County, not just to Santa Rosa County, but ECAR is a leading association across all of North Florida, and I think you all should give yourselves a round of applause for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You know, Cliff's pretty good at this. I just wish I could get him fired up about it. You know?